Hey, my name is Chad. On this channel we still like to make stuff, although we haven't been doing a whole lot of that because my attention has been consumed by this property behind me that I purchased 1 year ago while sitting on the toilet. And so, just like that, I bought a crack house while on the toilet. Hold on, I'll be right out. Somebody needs to use the bathroom. Behind me is my 5 acres of land which I purchased 1 year ago. It came complete with a 1944 home, a mobile home that's probably from the 60s or 70s era, and another mobile home that was probably intended to be a mobile contractor's office, but in its prior life it was a Sunday school. And we had to dismantle all that. Keeping the house for a little while, but we're going to go ahead and do a before shot with the drone and talk a little bit about it, and then we're going to do an after shot of where it currently is today, and we'll talk a little bit about what I've got in store. If you've been following along on this project for a while, you know I'm currently about 9 or 10 months behind in getting the footage all edited together. It just takes me a little while, but today you're in for a treat because you get to see exactly where we are today. But I encourage you, if you're into this kind of thing, to go back and find the playlist and watch from the beginning. So let's go back 1 year ago and get a quick tour of the place as it was. And here we are on the approach to my property. Got a nice little dirt driveway. So right about here is the start of my property line. I got to enter through an easement through another property. That's one thing about this place. It is completely property locked. I don't have any direct access to a main road. Here we got the reveal of the 1944 home, and you see a big power line above me here that goes across this opening. That's gone now. That was the contractor's mobile home, followed by the pink house, which was a 60s home. Just a good little elevation here and take a look down at the property. They got a big giant tree in the middle. That thing is huge, so big. We'll call it the Giant from now on. So here's the two mobile homes, and we'll go back here a little ways. This is also my property directly below us. Pretty soon you'll see a driveway that crosses the back, and that's kind of the back boundary of my place. Kind of swoop around here, and we'll find it. Just a moment. You can see how wooded Virginia is. These trees can take over very quickly. There are a lot of very old oaks. Here's the driveway to the neighbor's house to the rear of me. As I was saying, got a lot of oaks and a lot of tall standing pines. So all this underneath me is my property, and it opens up into the usable space. You see all the heavy brush and grass is growing up. A lot of junk left over from the previous occupant, who was a contractor, and they just kind of leave their stuff piled up. You know, a lot of building materials and stuff. And a lot of that includes screws and nails, which you don't want to run over. You see a lot of trash bins laying around. I will make good use of those. This stuff that's standing up here, this brush, burns very, very well and quick, which I learned the hard way. This old mobile home looks like it had been occupied as recently as 2017. A lot of junk in here. There's also a few useful things, like that door leaning there is a pretty good storm door. I kept that. There's a roll of linoleum there, and I think there's a shower pan tray at the bottom. And as far as this mobile home, it's basically two big rooms, or a big room and a smaller room back here. And it was used as a Sunday school in its previous life, and I think the contractor that occupied this place before intended to use this as like a mobile office that he could take to job sites. But it turns out it's been pretty well rotted out in a lot of places. Alright, let's take a look inside the old house. Lots of interesting things were found in here. Found a deer skull painted black. Put it right there. Inside here I found like 600 or 700 old records. There's a bunch of stuff in here that if you look real close you'll see a lot of dirty toys, naughty toys. I'm not going to point anything out, but if you look you can see it. There's some dirty magazines in here, and old ones too for that matter. In here, this is like a new edition, probably from the 90s, but there's a lot of drug paraphernalia in here. Syringes, stents, rubber straps, prophylactics. Here's a pallet that you used to get upstairs. This was probably a stairwell at some point. But up here in the second floor is only about 5.5 feet. I have to duck down a little bit when I stand up. I'm 6 foot tall. A lot of junk in here, rolled up carpet padding, and old mattresses, and there's tons of weird things going on. Those doors laying off to the left, I'll keep those and see if I can use them. And we'll head back down the non-stairs. Again, you'll see about 3 funny toys in here. That water heater might be useful. The bathroom is nasty, but you know, I think the fixtures themselves, like the toilet and the sink, are probably still pretty good. If I clean them up, I'll probably use those in the building I'm going to put up here, hopefully this year. A lot of old paint. There's a toy if you looked quick. Yeah, just a lot of random trash too, like office supplies and things like that. Alright, this would have been the old kitchen. Alright, heading out here. More trash. Let's take a look inside this old shack. For some reason I'm paying property tax on this as a building too. I'm trying to get that relieved. In here you got a lot of old fishing poles. That chair right there is actually quite good, and I spend a lot of time, like, you know, I'll eat my lunch in that chair. It's a pretty quality chair, in fact. Coming out. Right, the roof is actually quite sound. This place does not leak. Now the open windows and the open walls, it's a different story. Okay, this property actually came in 2 plots, a 4-acre and a 1-acre plot. So like right here where I'm pointing now is a little 1-acre spot of all woods. I had to buy them both together. You know, I would have done that anyway, but I've got, you know, tons of useful trees in here that I will try to get as much out of as I can. So it's a 5-acre total plot. Now we're going to gain some altitude here and kind of get a lay of the land. So as we look around, you see a lot of decent properties around me. So I'm not totally isolated. That's the entrance in, and you kind of a champagne glass looking shape there. The building to the top of me is my neighbor. He's a pretty good dude. Sometimes brings me a cold beer, and you know, we do a little bit of work together here and there. And this house that's coming into view at the bottom is abandoned, and you know, that would be a good property to acquire. I'd like to have that. That would give me access to a road and give me quite a bit more usable space. But as you look down, you see the giant tree in the middle, surrounded by those buildings. And then a couple hundred feet, or maybe 100 yards up into the trees to the left is more of my property. And then looking down my driveway, you see a white building up there. You know, that's a property that has access to the road, and I kind of drive through that property to get to this one. So that'd be a good property to have. It's also not occupied, and having access to a road would just be a good bit of security, so somebody can't deny me access to my property one day. As you can see, I really got myself a fixer-upper here, or a terror downer, but I want to go ahead and let's go ahead and hit a couple of the highlights over the past year. And so here is my crack house. One of them anyway. The other one's back over there. This here is a trailer that it looks like it was used as a mobile contractor's office. So there is junk everywhere. So I'm gonna have to probably get a dumpster brought out here and fill it many times. Look at this great big old tree. For scale, it's about as big as a tree I've ever seen in Virginia. Got this wooden shed out here full of just trash. There's some fishing poles. I want to make something of this place, improve it, and ultimately, you know, make it useful. So all these buildings are going to come down. I don't know if that trailer is pullable. I might see if I can give it away first, but I think here's how I'm getting up to the porch on this one. Demolition all of this and salvage what I can. Any steel out there can go to the recycling. Old mattresses back there, looks slept in. Well, let's get up in here and check that out. Prayer wall. Caspian region. This is, starting to look like this was a Sunday school. So that's the new tractor. Sometimes it starts and sometimes it doesn't. I just saw that the bolt on the starter that attaches from the battery cable is glowing red hot when I'm cranking on it. So I may have to go get a new starter, and they quoted me a lot, like $2,500. Alright, so this was not intended. One of the boards I was burning fell out and it spread over here to the main pile. Just in time for us to catch it as it was lit up about 6 feet high. You know what? Kind of a happy accident. We got it under control and it's going to burn everything all at once. this homemade wooden leg. Now, it's basically a log with a steel spike and a platform on the bottom. I just found a freaking tooth. What in the world? Whew. This place, man. By the way, right here is where I found that jar of money. Okay, so we're out here at the rescue property, and I was just about to found this brown jar and was just about to throw it away, and I looked inside. Let me see, can you see that? So, I already opened it up and counted it, but there is 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 170 bucks. All right, a lot better than finding a dime here and there. Woo! Cover, you can't really see what's on it, I think, but it's called Tip Top, volume 6, number 1. It was $2. It says adults only down here, and on the back, on the inside cover where the contents are, it says Tip Top, August, September, and October of 1966. Is published 4 times a year by American Art Agency from North Hollywood, California. I went ahead and went big. I got the trailer mounted portable sawmill. It's got hydraulic log handling, so I don't have to break myself getting logs up on the bed. That was the hardest 3 bolts to get off ever. Okay, there it is, brand new starter. Oh my gosh. Okay, once is an accident, twice is a fluke. 3 times as a habit. Perfect. So here is 1 pallet of 80-pound bags of concrete. It's 42 bags. I bought 7 pallets, bringing the total value of 1 bag of concrete to be $3.64. And I spent a total of $1,261.26 on 7 pallets. So I just want to point out real quick that the floor did collapse right here under the weight of, I guess, half a pallet. Alright, so you're getting the lap restraint and controls set for you. Set back as far as it'll go?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, so here's the key. Are you nervous?
Wait, maybe.
Maybe a little bit? Okay. Okay, now go that way. Give it some more gas. Give it some more gas with your foot. So what do you think?
It was honestly a little more scary than fun.
Okay. Well, how about we go on a little trip? Let you go down the road and come back. Alright, so Bennett just got a quick lesson on the tractor. Pretty easy to drive, don't you think?
Yeah.
We're gonna cut the yard, I guess, down past the driveway, get all that scrub cleared out. And meanwhile, while I'm doing that, Bennett's going to take the skid steer and kind of clear out some of the debris that's going to be in the way. See, these 4x6 beams, probably worth well over $100.
Oh, easily.
Each?
Easily.
See, I got the end frame set with the main rafters going across. I have to use this part of the video to give a huge thanks to my mom and her husband Gary for coming out from Wyoming for several weeks and basically living on the property in their RV. They worked almost every day out here, and one of the things we got done was taking down this mobile home, as you'll see, and we removed so much of the trash that was out here, and your contribution and labor was just immeasurable, and really want to thank Mom and Gary for coming out and doing that for me. So now that somewhat catches you up, let's go ahead and take you all the way to the current state of things, and we're going to do a little drone tour, and I'll talk you through some things. Alright, this is a very recent video of the property as it currently stands. So right here is the start of my property line. One thing I want everyone to notice is how good the place actually looks with all the grass and weeds properly manicured. You know, I actually like coming out here just to cut the grass and just to give it kind of a fresh look, and it's motivating to me. So here is the finished machine shed to the left and a pile of rocks for the foundation. Come around, and you know, without all the trash laying around, it just gives it a fresh appearance, and it makes it look like I have an actual yard. We have what's left over from the pink 60s mobile home. Just a bunch of wood flooring and framing. I think what I'm going to end up doing is pulling this over to the burn pit over there and setting the thing on fire, you know, and trying to do a controlled burn just to get it down to just the metals, because there's not going to be anything salvageable on this thing. as far as lumber goes. And then if I have any ideas for more you know, useful stuff out of the metal, then I'll probably you know, go ahead and capitalize on that. So since I'm making all this lumber now, it would only make sense that I have a proper kiln to dry and season that lumber. There is a thing called a solar kiln, and I started to you know, have an idea for that when I was taking this mobile home frame apart. I was just going to throw it all away and take it to the scrap yard and get a little bit of money for it. And then when I cut it, I'm like, you know what? It might be kind of handy to have one of these kilns that are mobile. So that way I can tow it around the property and get the best access to the sun year round. So I went ahead and cut off the front end, and I'm going to, well, I'm going to see what it's going to take to get these attached together. I'm thinking I will cut off the tops and the bottoms of these I-beams on both sides, so I just have this piece here, and make it so it slides right through either the insides or at the outside of this frame, or you know, to the left side of each. I don't know. I can probably bend it so it can both go to the outside. Probably put a few bolts through there and get it as flat as I can and weld it up, and it should be okay. I'm not worried about this thing being roadworthy ever, because it'll just stay here on the property. I need to get some new tires for these wheels. These back ones are still holding air, but it shouldn't be too difficult. So, and then I will just build the kiln on top of it. All right, it didn't fall apart and the tires didn't go flat, and there it is. I'd like to say the project's done, but it's just getting started. This here is another piece to the frame of that mobile home, the contractor mobile home, and I thought it was a perfect item to keep around to store these timbers that I'm starting to mill out and collect for my building. Now each of these timbers are dimensioned length and width wise, but not necessarily the length. They're very close to the length I need, but they're going to need trimmed, and some of these will need mortises. Like this monster right here is a floor joist for the second floor, and I'm going to need I think 4 of those, 4 or 5 of them. These here are roof purlins, so those are going to be supporting the roof. So there's quite a bit of timbering that needs to be done. Over there, those are knee braces, you know, the diagonal piece that goes between a pole and a roof, and a horizontal roof piece or floor piece. That's what those are. And then, you know, those all need to get shaped with proper angles and stuff on the ends. This here is a project that I did not anticipate taking so long. It actually took me several months, and my intent was to get it up before the winter snows fell, but fortunately winter did not come here at all. So I didn't really need the shelter as bad as I thought I would. So now I've got shelter for the sawmill, and I can actually operate the sawmill out of here. You'll see the some stack of logs ready to get milled up, and I've also got another piece of that mobile home frame right here to store logs on that I can easily just well, first of all, it keeps it up off the ground and it helps avoid rot, but I can also easily roll them to the sawmill right here. These are hydraulic arms that fold down, two of them, and it lifts the log up like a cradle. So I've got plenty of other videos on this channel using the wood miser. And then over here is the machine shed side. Right now this is holding some lumber I got milled up, which is intended to go on the walls. I'm going to put these up board and batten style on two sides, and probably kind of a headboard here, but I'm not going to put doors on these, I don't think. This is the new used Massey Ferguson I picked up, the compact tractor. Does a lot of the work around here. It's got a good mower on the back. I've also got a JCB skid steer. It's not on the property right now, but typically that would go here. I was able to get a lot of salvage out of the contractor's mobile home. All these ceiling rafters have come off of the flooring of the mobile home. Most of them anyway. This is a long one right here. That was from a tree I milled, but the 2x6s and the 1x4s and many of the other plywoods, like this is a new sheet of plywood, but all these are sheets of plywood off the flooring deck of the other mobile home that I was able to salvage on both sides. And all in all, into this roof, including the shingles, which were also largely found on the property. I had to buy a few more that matched. So all in all, this whole machine shed, minus the container, cost about $700, and most of that cost is in the shingles. I've also got a couple motion LED solar lights, which are handy. The container itself, I've got a whole episode on us leveling this and putting it on blocks. I think the this container cost me, I think it was $2,500 delivered, so not too bad. It's a good secure storage solution, and keeps everything out of the weather as well. Notice the illogical slope of the roof, both sides going to the center to the shipping container, but I've got a reverse slope roof over the roof that brings all the water from each roof to the back, to the center to the back, and then we got one gutter on the back here, and it goes into a pipe that Y's off and fills up these two different water containers, and just to have water for whatever I need it, whether it's concrete or or watering a garden at some point. I will be having a pumpkin patch probably this coming spring, so I might, you know, see about how I need to, you know, pipe water down to get that irrigated. But I got it all spray painted black just to keep the sunlight out of the water, to, you know, make it a good habitat for bacteria or whatever. Not sure how well that's working, but you know, there's also some chlorine pool stuff in there. Not for drinking. Whenever you're milling up trees, you tend to make a lot of tree trash, so I'm trying to get the most I can out of any lumber operation I got going on. So I'm starting to collect firewood. That stuff will be for sale probably this fall. So right about now, I need to start looking for buyers for firewood. There's not a whole lot here, you know. In fact, that's probably one buyer's worth. But it'll go for cheap. Alright, let's take a little look inside the container here. So I got all my valuables in here with a good padlock. Again, it keeps it out of the weather and it's secure. Try to keep everything organized. I got all my garden tools from the house out here now. And a nice rack along the back. I got benches on each side, which were actually already here on the property, just reusing them. Got a pressure washer here. I can wash up my machinery. And heading out here, I've got more of these, they're called IBC totes, just for water or other fluids. Got 5 more here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use them, or I need to use them, so I might be giving those away or something, or I might be trying to use those for irrigating the pumpkin patch. There's my $750 U-Haul cement mixer with some roof paneling I got on a good deal. Those are clear roofing for the solar kiln project. Over here, there's a constant need to be burning stuff, so I'm always running a fire. And then I got these old chairs that came out of the old house, kind of nice for sitting back when you're watching the fire. Over here again, I've got more of the timber for the building I'm collecting. You'll see they're all numbered. So my building is actually going against a plan that I bought from a reputable source. I think they're called Timber Frame Headquarters or Timber Frame HQ. So there is a plan out there. I'm not just, you know, throwing sticks together. I'm going to take another look inside the house. It's all cleaned out. Try to get in here without wrecking the drone. So everything is all cleaned out. Got some of the roof, or some of the wall panels off. Of course, we're gonna show a bullet hole in the window, because what's an old crack house without a bullet hole in it? Kind of fits with the theme of the sex toys and the porn and the drug paraphernalia. So up here in the roof rafters was where all that old porn was from the 60s. You see here I'm collecting a bunch of insulation that came out of the pink house. That's going to go into the solar kiln project. storing some lumber that I don't have a plan for right now. It's just extra. And the new addition to the old house is, this represents about 4 pallets, I think. So I think that comes out to about 12 tons on that foundation. No changes in the bathroom, still filthy, but I can actually use it if I pour water into the tank above, just so I have something to flush. I don't. So right here is the cap to the septic tank. So the septic tank flows out into a drain field, which is a series of pipes underground that are all in the forest here. This wasn't forested at the time, I presume, because they had to come out here and dig, but these are sweet gum trees, which are very fast growing trees. We're talking about a septic system that was put in 1994, and so, you know, about 30 years is plenty of time for these trees to grow up and totally overgrow that space. That's the thing about Virginia, you know, if you leave a space clear, it won't stay clear for long. That's that's all there is to that. So the vegetation takes over very rapidly. There's my temporary electric pole. It took me a little while to get that out here, but I have power on the property and I'm super happy about that. And up here is the new yard light, which replaced the old yard light because somebody I know cut a tree and it took that little yard light out. Right here is the primary well. If I ever get power to that, that'll be the one I use. Over here is a secondary well, which the cap is off. It's kind of scary to look down in there, but the cap is laying behind there. I need to dig that out and put it on the top. And these 2 trees here need to come down just to give that well some space. Again, sweet gum. Very fast and noxious trees. Back here, my brother was out and he said, hey, this is a pretty flat spot. Be a good place to put a building. I thought, you know, you're right. So I made a clearing. And ultimately, I have decided against it because it doesn't make much economical sense. It would have been cool to put a building back here in the woods, but ultimately the financial reasoning prevailed because I'd have to pipe all the sewage over to the existing septic tank with the pump or put in a new septic system. So that would save me several thousand to $10,000 to $15,000 just to put the building right about here within reach of the septic system. Alright, looking over here to this space, I'm looking at building my shop. It's a 30 by 36 2-story timber frame building, and it should go somewhere in here. The septic system is there. It has been certified. I guess that septic system has been installed in 1994. So they said it's still good. I had people come out and check that out. Now, a septic system is a tank and a drain field, which, you know, flows out into a series of pipes, and that's all in the wood line here. Now, all these trees, they advised me to go ahead and take down because their root systems have the potential to get into the drain field and damage it. So at some point here in the near future, I'm gonna have to go crazy with a chainsaw and just clear all this tree and forest back, and yeah, hopefully that goes smooth. So right here is where the building is going to go. And by the way, here's a picture of what that frame is going to look like. I think I'll always be dealing with trash on this property. It's been used as a dump for decades. For example, I've got a couple piles of tires. Gary, my mom's husband, went ahead and piled those up for me. But there was probably 20 or 30 of them out here, and it would cost me like $7 a piece to properly dispose of them. So I'm coming up with creative ways to slowly dispose of them over time. that isn't costing me any money, but we'll leave it at that. Big huge thanks to my mother, who came out, I guess it was in March. So she's actually responsible for filling up these bins and giving me 21 total bins worth of trash that I was able to take to the dump and just get it off the property. That's a lot of trash, especially in terms of weight, because a lot of that was glass bottles and just stuff that you know, you didn't want around, you didn't want to be stepping on, you didn't want to be running over with your tires. So thanks to Mom, that got done. Hey, one quick update on this. I did put the wall on since I recently finished filming the 1-year episode that I'm putting together right now. So I'll slip this in there just so you get a full update. We got a wall. This is a board and batten wall. It's going to get a back wall and a front wall as well. But this is what it's looking like. The tractor's nice and happy now. So something kind of historically interesting for you. I think if you were up here at this level, looking off in this direction, within eyesight, you would have seen the entire Confederate Army retreating to the Appomattox Courthouse, being pursued by the Union Army out of Petersburg on their way to the surrender of the Confederate Army. So off that way is the Appomattox River, and I think you would have saw soldiers traipsing through there. At one point, the county was down cutting trees and throwing them through a chipper, and I said, "Hold on, I'll take those." And they said, "All right." So they dropped me off a bunch of logs here that I can use. Now behind me, next to the driveway coming up to the property, is a great plot, maybe an acre and a half, I don't know, but it might be a good spot for a pumpkin patch next spring. And if I put in a pumpkin patch, then I can declare this a farm, and then that way I can avoid the state sales tax, which is 6% on anything that I spend out here. So that'd be a good way to you know, save a little bit of money and maybe even create a little bit of income. In addition, I'm also looking into setting up some beehives. So that brings us up to what's currently going on here at Shady Acres. By the way, Shady Acres is, I think, what I'm going to call this place. I don't know, what do you think? Because obviously there's a lot of shade, and the other meaning is I've found quite a few things, and you can go back and see some of those videos where I found quite a few things to suggest that this place might have a shady past. So that's pretty entertaining if you go back and find those. So I really thought I'd have a building going up behind me, at least a foundation or a frame, but that's not the case. There's always something around here that needs cleaned up, fixed, built, or whatever, you know. Or if it's too hot, I don't have to be out here. I'm not on a schedule or anything. So if it's too hot or too cold or too wet, you know, I might pass on coming out here on some of those days. Also, it takes some fun, so maybe I'm out, you know, working just to you know, help finance some of these projects. Now I'm trying to build this channel so your subscriptions and especially your views can go a long way to help you know, possibly raise some funds from YouTube to help finance some of these projects. So whenever I post a video, be sure to watch it, and it really does matter, and it helps. And I've also taken to experimenting with Patreon. Patreon is a site where you can go and subscribe to my channel, which is in this case kind of the behind the scenes, and it gives you the current status of every project going on. Whereas on the main channel, like I said earlier, I'm currently about 8 or 9 months behind. So if you want to help fund some of the things that are going on here, go check out Patreon, and you'll be current all the time with what's going on out here at Shady Acres. So thank you so much for watching. I think this video probably ran a little long, but it is the 1-year anniversary of buying this place, and I think there has been quite a remarkable change, even if there hasn't been so much building going on. But in the future, things are going to start happening fast. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you next time.